Good evening and welcome to Current Issues. I'm your host, Hesham Tillawi. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is the first day of Ramadan. That is the holy month of Ramadan for Muslims, where they fast for the whole month. They don't eat, drink, smoke from sunrise to sunset. And today is the first day, and I think I will be breaking fast around 7:15. So bear with me. I have not had anything to eat or drink all day. So if I'm a little bit off course here, you know why. Because I am waiting for 7:15 to get here so I can get a drink of water. Ramadan, ladies and gentlemen, is a must. Muslims must fast, just like they have other duties that they are to perform, such as prayers 5 times a day, pilgrimage to the holy sites in Mecca, which is once in a human's lifetime, if they can afford it and they are able to make the journey. And of course, giving to charities is another duty that is a must. And also they believe in God and His messenger. So that's the 5 pillars of Islam. That's the 5 pillars of when someone is a Muslim, they must do these 5s to be considered a Muslim. So today is the first day of Ramadan. So Ramadan Mubarak for all the Muslims out there. And if you're not a Muslim, you might want to look into that and see what makes up this religion that we sometimes hear in the mainstream media that wants to harm us. Now, today is not going to be about Islam. Just wanted to mention this because it's the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan. Because I'm sure you will be hearing about it on the news and as being the first day. Also, today we're not going to have a guest. It's just going to be me and you. And so we want you to call us. The number is 232-4434 if you're local, or if you are from out of the state or the country, the number is on the screen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today actually we were not going to have a show because we had one scheduled. We were going to talk about Darfur, that is the problem in Sudan. I'm sure some of you have heard of what is going on there. So we're going to have a couple of people talk about the problem. But one of them canceled because of Ramadan, because it's going to conflict with the timing of breaking his fast. And so we will have him after Ramadan. We'll tackle that problem. Some of you have asked us to look into that problem, and we will. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, tonight let's just me and you talk about the report that General Petraeus and Ambassador Ryan Crocker had given Congress and you, of course, through the media. Let's see what you think about it. Let's see what you think about what their report contained, if you're satisfied with their report, or you think it's nothing but a political game and these two are just two of the players there. Of course, you have seen Congress and the way they have been after this general. You don't blame them because, the general, in my opinion, is not given the true picture of what is going on in Iraq for many reasons. Of course, he has to answer to the president, and he has to go along with what the picture that the president wants to paint for us as far as what's going on in Iraq. And then you have the Democrats and some Republicans who, of course, wants to show a different picture than what the president wants to show. And also, on the other hand, you have the media who also have their own agenda. So very much you have a bunch of players with no rules, none whatsoever, some organized pockets here and there, and everyone is trying to manipulate the data and the information that was already manipulated by the general and his staff, because I'm sure they went over it again and again to make sure that it will give a pretty picture of what is going on in Iraq. As you have heard, the general said that the level of violence was reduced after the surge. You remember a few months back he asked for a surge in the number of troops he had, and he did receive 30,000 more, so now he has about 150, 160,000, and he believes that the level of violence in Iraq is down. Of course, I don't know what he bases that on, because this summer was very much the bloodiest for our troops. We lost 264 of them. And, of course, you know, August has been worse than July. The Iraqis lost about 1,700 people in July. And in August, they lost over 1,800 people. So I'm not really sure what level of violence he is talking about. And also he mentioned something about the chiefs or the sheikhs. You know, you've heard that word a lot in the last couple of days, that he had got the sheikhs to basically the tribal chiefs to get along and go along with what we want them to go along. And today the main man that he had there, a chief named Sheikh Sattar Abu Risha, he very much, and we have a picture with the general and the sheikh, he was assassinated today. So that was more of a message to the general that, you know, if this is your man. And we had another picture with this man with the president last week, but unfortunately it was not working, because he did meet with President Bush last week when President Bush made his surprise visit to Iraq. So this man here is basically Patraeus' main man in the Anbar province. He was killed today. Probably, like I said, a message to General Petraeus, and probably General Petraeus said more than what he should about this particular guy, and now we see what happens when you are friends with the occupation army in Iraq. You know, so who do you blame? Who do you blame? You know, everybody in Washington now is not taking responsibility. Even though you had the White House, you had the Congress, you had the media, you had the people. The majority were to go and attack Iraq. The majority of people. The majority of you out there watching us, you have a responsibility. Of course you do. This is a democracy. This is the people speaking. The people are talking. The people are making the decisions, supposedly. So, it is you responsible. It is the Congress that overwhelmingly gave the President the okay and the green light to go and attack a sovereign country that did not do us any harm and did not mean us any harm. So the Congress, on both sides, you know, right now we're seeing Democrats going out of their way to talk about how bad it is in Iraq and how bad it is for us in Iraq. But guess what? It was you. It was you who supported the president and the neocons, and you gave them the okay to go and attack a sovereign country that did not do us any harm. And then we have the White House, the man in charge, who gave the orders to those bombers to start bombing and killing the people of Iraq. That now we are, you want to try to draw a nice picture to what's going on in Iraq, telling me that students are going to school. Well, these are 4 million Iraqis that are in tents. 4 million Iraqis, refugees. Okay? Now draw that picture. You want to tell me that the level of violence is low? Well, we have pictures to show you that the level of violence is still high. They're still killing in Iraq. These people here that you're seeing, they are fleeing their country in the middle of the desert, not knowing where in the world to go. People just pick up and leave. And then some agencies will bring them tents and bring them food, and all of a sudden it becomes home, and it has been home for a few years now. And then the misery we have, the misery that we had brought to these people. These people are mourning their dead. That's what we have done in Iraq. So I don't want anyone to tell me that we did something good in Iraq. If we rebuilt a school, that school was in an excellent shape before we went there. If we fixed an electric generator, guess what? Baghdad, people in Baghdad don't have electricity. They get it once a week. They used to get it 7 days, 24 hours a day. So don't tell me that we fixed a little generator here or there. Don't tell me we rebuilt a bridge here or there. Because it was built and built right before we went there and bombed it. And we still. So, who do we blame? Do we blame the Congress that, in the first place, gave the president the okay to go to war? And now they are trying to play politics with the lives of the Iraqis and the lives of our people, because it is our people out there who died. 264 American soldiers died. Those 264, ladies and gentlemen, have 264 families behind them. The 1,800 and more Iraqis who died in August, they have 1,800 and more families who care for them, who cry when they die. Okay? And now we have General Petraeus, who thinks he wants to be the President of the United States in 2012. Well, guess what, General Petraeus? I know Eisenhower, and you are no Eisenhower. In 2004, General Petraeus, while he was the top commander for the recruitment and the building of the Iraqi army, in one city in Mosul, he recruited 7,000 policemen. That these policemen, after they were trained and paid real good with your tax money, they decided to switch sides. They took over 31 police stations in that area, and they decided to join the resistance. Also, at the same time, 11,000 assault rifles disappeared under his watch, under General Petraeus' watch. $41 million worth of equipment. That's stuff that he was responsible for at that time. Now he's responsible for everything. Maybe these billions of dollars that we are looking for, maybe he can answer to that. Because he's very articulate. I mean, you have to give it to the guy. He knows how to talk, and that's probably why he got to be where he is, a 4-star general. But of course, we heard what Admiral William Fallon, said about him. He said of Patraeus that Patraeus is, and he told him this to himself, he said, "You are an ass-kissing little chicken, S-H-I-T," and added, "I hate people like that." So, ladies and gentlemen, who do we blame? Who will take the responsibility? This four-star general who wants to continue? And then tonight, the president wants to tell you that he is getting some of the troops back. A reduction in force. 5,000 by the end of the year, which, by the way, the 5,000 who are going to be coming, they're already way overdue, and they're stuck there in Iraq. They were supposed to be back here months ago, but they get stuck there, and he promised that 5,000 of them who are already on their second and third tour of Iraq, they will be coming home. Well, guess what? That still leaves 25,000 from just the increase he took last year. And then they're saying by summer of next year, 2008, they would have the force reduced by 25,000. Well, that's the 30,000 that we just gave them a few months ago. So we're not reducing our force. We added and then we took out. That means zero-sum result, no troop reduction. At a time when people were asking for troop reduction, asking for the troops to come home, we added more, we sent more over there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to hear from you. Let us know what you think and how you feel about the war. I know it's a sensitive subject, but we would like to hear your opinion and what you think should happen. Now, by the way, to those people who say, bring the troops back, well, how are you going to do that? Let me tell you one thing. These Democrats in Congress, that they say, bring the troops back now, they know that there's no way on earth that you can bring the troops back now. And if Nancy Pelosi gets to be the President of the United States today, I dare her to bring the troops back. Stop playing politics. The troops are there to stay, and stay for a long time. Okay? We did not spend $500 million building one of the largest embassies in the Middle East to leave it after 3 years. No. We did not build some of the largest military bases in Iraq to leave. So, let's look at the picture, the total picture, and see how the total picture looks. The total picture looks like this. We went to a country. We also were victims, ladies and gentlemen. The United States of America was a victim in this. The people of the United States were the victim in this, because those are fighting there, they're not politicians. They are your sons and daughters, they are your brothers and sisters who don't know much about politics. They answered the call of duty and they went there thinking that they are protecting the country. But it is the powers that be are the ones responsible for this, who did not tell you why we are going there, but wanted to use our people, our money, our taxes, to go and accomplish their own agenda. Not our agenda, not the people's agenda, their own agenda. Which is, you see in it right now, the objective has been met, ladies and gentlemen. We had done the job, a dirty job, for other people in the Middle East. Iraq is divided. It is something that will ultimately be. And that was pre-designed way before. It was pre-designed in late 70s, early 80s to do exactly what is being done now. But those who designed it were looking for a power to actually accomplish that. And that power and these people who designed it, they became the responsible party of pushing towards the war. And we'll talk about those people. Let's go to the phones with Vic. Go ahead, Vic.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, it really scared me to hear that Patraeus wants to become the President of the United States.
Yes, turn your TV down a little bit, Vic.
The TV down, turn the TV down.
Back in March, he did speak with a high-ranking Iraqi officer, and he told him that he is looking. That's what he wants to do in 2012.
Oh, okay. Well, that's scary. Now, I just want to say that...
Well, this explains, Vic. This explains why he's trying to do what he's trying to do, and that's why he is. For days and days and days, he's going to be on TV. He's the star. So they are trying to see. He's trying to make a name for himself. But I tell you what. I mean, just like I said before, I know Eisenhower, and he is no Eisenhower.
Oh no. But I just want to add also that we're failing to learn the lesson of history here. That the occupiers always become to hate the occupied. And the occupied come to hate the occupiers, but the occupiers will eventually have to go.
Right.
And, it's just going to be a sad scene for years until we go.
Exactly. The thing is, we are, I'm talking about the people, the average person out there. We feel good about ourselves. We feel good about our moral values. We feel good. I mean, we talk and we preach good all the time. We pride ourselves on doing the right thing, doing what Jesus wants, doing what God wants, doing what our religion teaches us to do, which is do the right thing. I don't know if anyone out there can look at himself in the mirror and say, we did the right thing in Iraq. We did not. We did not. We have put these people, millions of them, that did not do us any good. We went there because of greed, because of money. Money. Because of Israel that wants to maintain control of that area. This was their plan. Paul Wolfowitz was the first one who basically started pushing for this with Richard Pearl. These are the people who pushed us to go there. And then you have Senator Lieberman, Joseph Lieberman. He almost became probably the President of the United States if Al Gore would have won. Joseph Lieberman, who is Jewish, who is Zionist, who is still pushing. He's a Democrat, by the way, but I tell you what, he is a hawk more than Dick Cheney himself, because what we're doing there is good for Israel, is good for the cronies that are making money on making killer machines.
But don't forget, we still have our weekly protests on Friday. Been out there for over 3 years saying, "You shall not kill, and war never brings peace." And the numbers are growing, and we're in the 4th year.
Very good. That's tomorrow at 4 o'clock downtown.
4 to 5.
4 to 5 downtown Lafayette, in front of the Federal Building.
Right.
Very good. More power to you, brother.
Okay.
Thanks.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, let's go to Joel. Go ahead, Joel.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Doc, the bomb situation between America and Russia, we see that America has the Moab, which is, they call him the mother of all bombs.
Now they have the daddy of all we have the father of all arms.
We have the
all
mother
bombs.
of all bombs. Now Russia has the father of all bombs, which they are saying that it's 4 times more powerful than America's bomb.
Right.
I just wanted to, 2 quick questions. One question is, who do you think Russia's going to use that bomb on? They just left Afghanistan not too long ago, so this was something to think about. I just wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
And I want to know if you know for a fact, or if you have any idea about the fact, are you from the tribe of Ishmael? And I wanted to know if you know that ancestry or that heritage, if you can trace back or ever trace back your heritage to Abraham or Ishmael, the tribe of Ishmael. Can you say yes or no for a fact?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea.
That was, well, it was just a question.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea. It has been, about 5,000 years since
it's been a while.
Since Abraham.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of don't keep contact with people that long.
Well, the point I was trying to make is that this is, and I'm not saying this to be mean or rude, but if your lineage or your ancestry is from Abraham and Ishmael, the tribe of Ishmael, you know that makes you half Jewish, doctor. Okay. You're half Hebrew, right? I could
probably be. You know what? You are hitting on an excellent point here. By the way, I could be full-blooded.
Well,
I could be full-blooded.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. Because Jews who lived in Palestine at that time, those people who were known to be Jews or called Jewish, they very much stayed in that area. Okay, and when Christianity became a religion, a lot of them basically converted to Christianity, which in turn, when Islam, 600 years after, when Islam became the dominant religion in that part, the majority of people became Muslims. So, and this is something I said here on this show, that the Palestinians who live in Palestine today, not the Jews who came from Europe. Now, I don't consider the Jews who came from Europe, who converted into Judaism, the Khazar Jews, who makes about 90 to 95% of all Jews in the world today, I don't consider them as being, their ancestors go back all the way to Abraham, because we know where they come from. We know who they are. They were in Khazaria in Europe, and we know their history. So I can't say that these people belong to Abraham. Maybe they converted to a religion that Abraham was not even a Jew.
Yes, sir.
Abraham was not a Jew.
So maybe the case may be then that the Palestinian people may be actually the original Hebrews.
Of course. Most of them are. Most of them are.
That's a possibility.
Well, it's not just a possibility. The research has been done. This is a mixture of the people who were there, the people who were the descendants of Isaac and the descendants of Ishmael. Definitely, the Arabs and what is known as the Jews. But you see, they became known as the Jews at a later time. At the time of Isaac, they were not known as the Jews, or the time of Abraham. You know that they became known as Jewish at a much later time. Yes. So definitely, where did these people go? We know that a lot of them went to Babylon, but a lot of them remained. You know, the only ones who were taken to Babylon, there were 5,000 leaders of the Jewish community at that time with their families. So the estimate, probably between 20 to 25,000 Hebrews went to Babylon. But the rest of the population remained in Palestine and became Christians, then became Muslims.
And then a lot of them, too, may have escaped also.
A lot of them may have escaped, but if they have escaped, they have escaped to like the neighboring. And we have a huge Jewish communities in the surrounding countries. You know, Egypt has huge Jewish community. Well, it was at one time. Now it was reduced after 1967 and 1948. Morocco has a substantial minority there. All Arab countries, Syria, Iraq, you know, and these people are, and by the way, there are Arab Jews, they're Arabs. They're Arab tribes, but they became Jews, they converted to Judaism. But you see, being an Arab is much, it has been Arabism, or people who are known as Arabs, these tribes who originated in the Arabian Peninsula were there and were known as Arabs way before even Judaism and Moses and all this took place. So
at the time of Abraham too. I mean, we had these tribes at the time of Abraham.
Of course, you know, Abraham. When Abraham went to Palestine, Abraham was not the first one to go to Palestine of his people, and also Palestine was populated. And as a matter of fact, if you do remember reading in history, that in Palestine we had the oldest city-state municipality type of government. You know, Jericho is the first city-state in history. Yes. So people were of an advanced nature there in Palestine way before even Abraham went there. Appreciate your call, Joel.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now, he asked me about Russia, and then we'll go to the phones again. You know, I don't know who Russia will use this bomb for, but I think it's a message. You know, the Cold War is back again. You know, we have to understand that. Russia does not like what we're doing in the world. China does not like what we're doing in the world. India does not like what we're doing in the world. We don't like what we're doing in the world. So Russia is sending us a message. You know, the bomb that Joel was talking about, it's equivalent to about 11,000 tons. This bomb that the Russians had made successfully is 44,000 bombs. So it is 4 times the strength, and it's a vacuum bomb, and it's much stronger. It's much stronger than the one we used on Hiroshima. Now we need to be careful what we're doing here, because the Russians feel that, you know what, we need to stand up, and the Russians can stand up. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, one thing before I go to Bernard on the phone, one thing you have to understand, the economy war is that we keep talking about. The Iraq war, and we're losing that war. Don't let anyone kid you that we're not losing. We are losing that war. We are losing that country. The North has very much doing their own stuff, and we help them. The South kicked out the British. The British Army is just very much at the airport ready to go home. And we're not going to send any troops down to the South. So we're very much forgetting about the South. We are concentrating on Al-Anbar province. That's it. Even Baghdad is not secured. But the war that we're going to lose big time is the economic war. You know, during the collapse of the Soviet Union, the people in the Soviet Union were ready for that collapse. They knew how to make without, how to do without. We don't know how to do without. When that economic collapse happens here, it's going to be a disaster. Because we don't know how to do it. We're not ready. Our politicians are not telling us anything about it. They know it's coming, but they're not telling us anything about it. We're not ready for an economic collapse. The Russians were ready, and that's why now they are in a hell of a lot better shape than they were before. Let's go to Bernard. Go ahead, Bernard.
Dr. Tillawi, I'm glad you're back on the air today, right before the president speak at 8 o'clock. Because of the fact, the way things look now, the president tonight is going to call for an extended stay in Iraq. And apparently, Maliki and the so-called parliament of Iraq is supposedly has agreed to that, okay?
Well, they have no choice. It's not a matter of agreeing. They have no choice. Maliki has his job because we have him there.
But look, the bad thing is this. Hardly any American believe what General Petraeus, General Petraeus said in front of the House and the Senate.
Listen, Bernard, listen.
Nobody believes General Petraeus. He's saying...
But listen, Petraeus... actually, when MoveOn.org, when they did that, they betray us. As a matter of fact, they offering the Republicans, it's like this is what the Republicans been wanting to kind of, divert attention from what they're doing.
Yeah, have you been hearing Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and complain and Bill O'Reilly?
I haven't heard any of them, but I can't imagine.
Well, they've been complaining about MoveOn.org, but no. I was the first one who came up with that several weeks ago, General Petraeus, because I knew when he came back from Iraq, you know what I mean, that he was going to do what the president wanted him to do.
Right.
Because we have the largest embassy in the world currently in Iraq. There's over $29 billion missing out of Iraq. Plus, we are still building 14 military bases in Iraq. So President Bush tonight is going to come forward and say that he agrees with General Petraeus' 30,000 troop withdrawal right before the election in 2008, right? And
we just sent those people out there.
That's true. We just sent them out there in May, right?
Right. So we're not reducing our force at all. We just taking what we sent them.
But the bad thing is this. Look, the general comes back, and he says stuff like violence is supposedly down. But the bad thing is this. It's how they are counting the deaths now. If somebody's shot in the back of the head, they're saying that that's a homicide. But if somebody's shot in the front of the head, it's supposedly an attack of Al-Qaeda or Shia-on-Shia violence or Sunni-on-Sunni violence or Sunni-on-Shia violence. So all the people who still dying, if you go on the Internet, you will see that today there was a big attack there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't hear the news media report it. So, Dr. Tillawi, why isn't the news media currently reporting what is actually going on in Iraq? Why isn't Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, Neil Bartz, why aren't they actually reporting the day-to-day violence in Iraq currently?
Well, these people, and you know this better than anyone, these people that you mentioned, forget it. They're not going to be objectives. These people are mouthpieces, propagandists for the president. We know that because the people that control them, the people that control the media, want them to do that and say that. And, Sean Hannity is the worst one. He gets up there, and Larry Elders, too, the guy that thinks he's white.
Well, he's gone from KPEL, as you know. KPEL don't have him on anymore.
They have like a Dennis Miller or something?
Yeah, they put Dennis Miller on now. And he's pitiful himself. But
of course.
Here's something else I want to ask, and then I'll hang up and you answer.
Sure.
Now, George Bush, the American people has only given the president a 5% approval rating as far as him handling the Iraqi situation. His popularity is now down to 28%, not 33%, as you heard. Most polls have him down at 28%. Now, with most Americans against what the Bush administration is doing in Iraq and in the Middle East in general, how in the world can these talk show hosts like Rush Limbaugh still even be on the air? If most Americans are against this stuff, shouldn't that reflect on conservative radio? And thanks very much.
You're welcome. The reason you have the 28% is because of these people, because of the Fox Network, because of the Sean Hannitys and the Rush Limbaughs. That's why the president still has the 28%. Now, why? You know, he asks why, and we always ask why. Because the media is not a free media. The media is part of that same agenda. The media is part of that same money. The same organizations, the same corporations that own media corporations, they also own military industrial complexes. They make the news, they cover the news, they make more news. They are in the news making, literally. They make the news, and then they have their other side of the corporate formula there, cover what they made. Simple enough? Simple enough. Okay. You know, I was thinking, and when I start thinking, that's when you need to start worrying. I'm wondering why the Democrats or the powers that be, number one, do you think it's going to be a Democratic president or a Republican president? I think it's not going to be a Democratic president. I think they played this. Oh, what time is it? We have a minute left? Okay. We have a minute before I can drink because, you know, I'm going to break my fast. I can't go any, not even 1 minute more. Okay? I have not had a drink or eaten food or anything in the last, God knows, since 4 o'clock this morning. But anyhow, Giuliani, ladies and gentlemen, we need to pay more attention to him. Because I don't think Hillary Clinton is going to be elected. I just don't. I don't think Barack Obama, which I'm thinking probably the ticket, the Democratic ticket will probably look like this. Hillary President, Barack Vice President. They're not electable. I can tell you that much. Now, you can get upset with me. Hey, I'm telling you what I'm seeing from where I'm standing. And why? Because it's going to get tough. Closer to the election, it's going to get tough. Then the media is going to jump in here and start saying, we need a tough president. Can a woman run a war on terrorism? And then they're going to start bringing you Osama Obama. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I have to drink, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I feel it going down. It's like, boom. Nothing in there. Again, if you don't know what we're doing, today is the first day of fasting for Muslims, where we don't eat, we don't drink from sunrise to sunset. So at 7:15 is when supposedly sunset. So I broke my fast. Now I'm not fasting. Now after the show I can go and eat as much as I want. So we have to do this for like 30 days. So anyhow, let's get back to this, because this is extremely important, just to show you how they design things. They let the people play with it, enjoy it while it lasts, and then they give you the one they want. I am predicting, and I hope my prediction will be wrong, but if the agenda of those people on top who pick and choose these people for us, the only one that will continue the neocon agenda is Giuliani. Giuliani yesterday hired Daniel Pipes. You have heard us talking about Daniel Pipes. He is a notorious Zionist who's going to be one of his advisors. Many of this guy's advisors, they are already, remember how they were bringing like Richard Pearl and Paul Wolfowitz and all these people before George Bush became president? Remember how they were bringing them into the scene, making them advisor on this and advisor on that and advisor on that, and then before you know it, George Bush gets elected, these people become the executors of the war. Now, the agenda is not finished in the Middle East. They're going to say a woman can't run a war. Then they're going to bring Obama's past as being, well, he says he's not a Muslim, but he went to a Muslim school. His mother was married to a Muslim at one time, and then he studied at a madrasa. By the way, all madrasa means a school. So don't get, whenever you hear Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity talking about madrasas this and madrasas that, it's nothing. It's school. That's what madrasa means. Madrasa means school. So he was taught at an Islamic school, and guess what's going to happen? Once that story starts, they are not touching that story yet. But I guarantee you, when it comes time for the elections, because they don't want to destroy this man now, where the Democrats will be able to scramble around and get somebody else in there. No. They want Hillary, and they can attack Hillary right now if they want to, but they don't. Because that means giving the Democrats time to find somebody who is electable. And once Giuliani becomes the president, and God help us, if there's anything, ladies and gentlemen, we don't need to do is electing this guy to become the President of the United States. If you thought George Bush was bad, this man is worse. If you thought George Bush had his hand on the trigger, this guy already fired. Okay? This man will not bring peace to us, to the world, or to anyone. We need to elect people who will end this madness in the Middle East. The madness that we created. The only man that I can think of that will do this, actually two men, and they both happen to be in different parties. And I don't care who becomes, and I tell you what, neither of them will become the next president of the United States. That is Ron Paul and Dennis Kucinich of Ohio. Ron Paul of Texas, Republican. Dennis Kucinich of Ohio, Democrat. Those are the only two men that I guarantee you will end the madness and bring the world back to its equilibrium. That means balanced for, Anyhow, with Giuliani hiring Daniel Pipes, that tells a story in the making, ladies and gentlemen. I was very disturbed when I heard that Daniel Pipes was hired by Giuliani, because that means that Daniel Pipes may be part of the Giuliani administration in some capacity, probably Secretary of State, God help us. If that happens, once that happens, ladies and gentlemen, these people are operating out in the open. No more. They will not be hiding anything anymore. If Daniel Pipes, who was hired by Giuliani, if Giuliani is the next president of the United States, and with the people that I know who are around him now and the people who will be coming, you need to pay very close attention to Giuliani and see who gets in his inner circles. You will know who the next president of the United States will be. If that happens, like I said, these people would have advanced to the next step, to the next phase of operating in the open which means the only way they can survive is if they become dictators. And we are on the way to doing that. And Giuliani will not think twice about instituting martial law. Giuliani will not think twice about getting and attacking Muslims even right here in the United States. That's who Giuliani is. All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, if we want, or if you are for peace in the world and peace in the United States, because I guarantee you, people, mavericks are out there in the military, they are talking. 7 of them wrote a letter to the New York Times. It was published at the same time when General Petraeus was talking. 2 of them, and I think we have a picture of those 2. 2 of them had, number 8, I think. 2 of them died yesterday in Iraq in a car accident. One of them, a 3rd one, staff sergeant, he got shot in the head, but he survived. So we do have mavericks out there, ladies and gentlemen. We have people who see, and I'll tell you what, their letter to the New York Times, it was nothing. Yes, these 2 gentlemen that you're looking at. And they were coming home, by the way, in November, like next month, the next couple of months. They were coming home, but so they wrote, 7 of them wrote a letter to the New York Times. It was published there. And unfortunately, 2 of them died. The staff sergeant got shot in the head. Now, we're not saying that happened because they wrote it. We don't know. That's for the investigators to figure out. We're not saying conspiracies or anything here, but we have a lot of people from the inside are trying to say something and talk about what we're doing in the world. And these people are being sent on early retirement. So, the picture is gloomy? Yes, it is. The future looks gloomy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because on the Democratic side, they're going to create a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where you will not elect a woman for president. Now, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I think a woman will do a heck of a job. I think a woman will do much, much better job than a man. And I think a woman will end the war. But the way Hillary's talking, I hope it's just she's talking like that just to get the Jewish votes and the Jewish money. And after, if she becomes president, that she will actually try to do what her husband had done. Because I know she was very instrumental in his decisions towards making peace in the world. And I think he tried. I think the Democrats tried. Anyhow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next Tuesday we will not have a show, but we will have a rerun, a broadcast, because of the... so on Tuesdays we're not going to have live broadcasts, but on Thursdays we will, in the month of Ramadan, because one of the producers of the Tuesday can't make it, so we can't. Good night. Go do the right thing. We'll see you later.
Hi, I'm Keisha Alama, Community Relations Coordinator